first episode of Boxer the Movie podcast. My name is Katie Mack. I am the writer, director, executive producer, and star of the feature film Boxer. And my co-host is...
Okay, all right. So my name is Jared Solomon, and I am a producer on Boxer, the feature film.
See, just out here. You hear that tone he got? We are so New York.
Oh, here we go.
But it's a little bit. All right, so Jared and I, we are in this business. And before we get into how we met and all of the things, I just want to tell you a little bit about what you can expect from the first season of Boxer the Movie podcast. So we will be bringing on the extraordinarily talented cast. I'm so excited. I can't. My words aren't working.
Say it together. Cast and crew.
The extraordinarily talented cast and crew of the film. And, this first episode, I'm super excited about it. We're going to get into that in a second. But I guess we should tell them, who we are, how we met, all the things. All right, so okay. I'll start. Jared, how did we meet? Let's see if he gets this right.
No. See, because I'm the one that'll remember how we met. I want to know if you remember how we met, because I feel like, so... No. First, tell me, and then I'll tell you what I was gonna say, what I feel. How did we meet? How do you think we met?
I feel like...
See, this is why I gotta ask her. I gotta ask her, y'all, because she don't know. She tried to. You see how she tried to do that reverse psychology?
No, we met. I feel like we met on Twitter or Facebook. No.
I'll give you that. So we were friends on social media first.
Right.
And the reason why I didn't want to answer that first is because I feel like I stalked Katie on social media before I actually not no like creep way, in like I admire your work type of way. Like,
how long did you do that?
Dope. It must have been a couple of years before I actually met you. And I met you because I ran into you. I don't know if you remember, but I ran into you at Union Square.
Really?
We both were in Union Square. We were crossing the street. And I saw you across the street. I was like, oh shit, that's Katie Mack. Oh shit. So when we got to the middle of the intersection, like we were crossing each other, I was like, Katie, and you were like, yeah, like, but you didn't really know who I was. But I guess it clicked, like, oh, I recognize her from social media, and I think I introduced myself then. Mm-hmm. And here we are.
Guys, I don't remember that, so I'm gonna just let Jared tell it. I'm just I'm ancient, guys, so don't pay me no mind, because if you let me tell it, I feel like I met Jared at the premiere of a limited series I did called Charlie, and 3 years ago. So
that was years after we crossed paths. Matter of fact, no. Katie's gonna be upset at this, but
wait.
I think the second time that we actually ran into each other was Katie came and auditioned for something that I was casting.
See, I blocked that because you know what?
Katie's still salty about it, but look at us.
No, let's talk a little bit about that. You know what?
No, see.
So yeah, I auditioned for a project he was working on, and they did not cast me. Now look at us. He's my right-hand man on my feature film, and I won't let that go. You know why? Because I felt like they was trying to say I was too old. I don't like that. Look at his face, y'all. Look at his face. If you look at that video of this, look at his face.
I never said that, y'all.
Anyway.
I never said that. Let's move on. Let's move on. What's next? What's next on this?
Yeah.
On the agenda.
Anyway.
So tell us about your work, Katie.
Why your voice cracking? All right, y'all. So I was a writer first. I started writing when I was a wee baby. Used to sit on the stoop back in the day in the hood in Queens. I used to tell stories. Used to be story time when I was about 12, 15 years old. And that kind of was the propeller into writing all the time. I got into acting when I started college. And from there, it was kind of off to the races. I went to William Esper Conservatory here in New York City. I did the 2-year program there, graduated a few years back. I ain't gonna tell y'all when, because y'all really don't need to know my age. But anyway.
Yeah, I remember you talking about all that on social media. That was before I knew you. Like,
Oh,
it's
wow.
crazy.
Stalker alert.
Don't worry about it. Keep going.
I mean, you know, so from that, when I graduated from Esper, I kind of went into, no, I didn't kind of, I went into creating my own content, because I was auditioning and everything, but I was getting typecast. You know, I was always brought in, you know, the tatted girl, the tough girl, or, you know what I'm saying, the tough lesbian girl. These are all fine characters, but that is not the range of what I had. So, you know, started making my own work. I've done a dozen mix of short films, limited series, mini series. I've worked on other people's projects as associate producer. And naturally, I wanted to kind of expand my resume, and we are finally at my very first feature film. It scares the shit out of me, but I have full faith in my cast and crew.
You said 31st or very first? Sounds like you said 31st.
Oh, this is 31st. Like 31st. Listen, if I'm on my 31st today, we will not be doing no kind of crowdfunding.
Right, we got a problem. Right.
So first,
yes,
guys, first. But what about you? What's your background aside from working with me and not casting me in your projects? I'm sure there's something else going on there.
Okay, all right. Before I started casting or not casting Katie in projects, I'm an actor first before anything. So, you know, I've worked on shows, web series, movies, you know, theater, all the actor, you know, all the actor shit.
Yeah.
But then, you know, naturally, like I'm sure other actors can relate, you start wanting to create your own, put yourself, cast yourself. And that's how I fell into this producing role, where actually the show that Katie is talking about, that she wasn't, you know, whatever, in was actually my first time like fully producing something from scratch, not being an associate producer, not being co-producer, none of that.
Straight in.
That was the very first thing that I was like, I got to do it.
Yeah.
You know, it was self-funded, self-produced. I was also acting in it. I edited it, like we built it from the ground up. So well, I mean, we had a partner, but in terms of like playing all those roles, it felt like it. It felt like it. So yeah, through that journey, and you know, working on a couple other projects after that brought me here, where I'm producing this feature film. So, you know, all of those things were just stepping stones to this point.
Here's a question for you that I've been asked before. Why do a movie if you ain't have no money, or if you don't have any money?
Oh, listen, I promise you, I ask myself that question every other day.
Yeah, same. That's that's the bullshit of this business, especially on an indie level, because on an indie level, ain't never no money. It's like you got to scratch your ass and figure out different ways to make this coin, to get this project done. And for me, it's the most stressful part of the whole process.
Yeah, probably. Probably. It's close to actual production, but yeah. At least for me, I know I take a lot of the heat off of you for when it comes to production and, you know, but yeah. But for this particular project, because I wouldn't do it for every project, but for this particular project, just because
God, y'all have no idea. This is what y'all about to get into with us on this little podcast journey. Go ahead.
I just feel like this project is worth it. This project is worth the journey. The story is worth the journey. The beauty of this film, you guys, even just watch the teaser that we put together. The beauty and the people that we have signed on to this project, the talent. And I'm not just talking about the cast, I'm talking about even the crew. They're so talented and so dedicated to this project that, you know, we gotta serve them, and we gotta serve the story and the audience with this film. It's just something that I feel convicted in making and making it happen no matter what. So for this particular project, it's just like the story got to be told. This message has to get out there. We got to make people see themselves and see that it's okay to, one, not be afraid of mental health, two, see that Black women athletes can lead and carry a film. And that a Black woman can make all of these things happen, can make a film happen, be in the film, write the film, direct the film, produce the film, play all of these roles, and be successful at it. So, you know, those are the things that push me to, you know, make a film with no money and have y'all to help us make that dream happen.
Y'all gotta help us. You know, I think that's the only thing about Hollywood that is enticing to me. You know, I love the grit of indie filmmaking, but I love the Hollywood aspect as far as, you know, just having someone to do everything. Because on the indie level, we doing a lot of jobs. We have our little titles, but we are all kind of chipping in across the board. Even though some days I'll have my days, guys, and I'm just exhausted, and I'll be like, Jared, can you do this, please? Can you do this, please? And he'd be like, on it, and I'll be like, oh, thank you, God, for blessing me with the team that you have, because, you know, it's exhausting. But, you know, I think that if I could be a successful independent filmmaker, making money and being comfortable, I'm good with that. I don't need to be Will Smith. I would love that money. I don't need the problems that come with that. But I, you know, maintaining creativity on the things that I create is very important to me. And I know that sometimes a lot of that can get lost when indie filmmakers transition into the Hollywood realm. And I'm a stickler about that, you know. But hats off to you, Jared, about, you know, or for being a producer, because before I was able to, you know, bring on teams to my projects, I had to produce my own projects, and it was a pain in the ass. And producing the one thing that made me consider not making movies, because I'm like, this is too much. Like, I gotta do this, I gotta find this, I gotta call this, I gotta print. I have to do so much. Like, I can't even focus on the creative aspect. You know what I'm saying?
And then you were in most of your projects too. So it's like, you know.
Like, I feel like I've been in the business for 40 years.
But that's what I'm saying. I felt like I did that same thing with that web series that I worked on. And I was just like doing everything.
Yeah.
Like I'm literally on set producing, but I'm in the scene too. So I'm like setting up the set, setting up the, you know, doing set design. And then I gotta drop into a character. You say cut. And I'm back to doing everything else until the next take. So yeah, I feel that. I definitely feel that, and that's why I'm like, I want to make sure that we have a team around you to take that off of you, because you are lead. You are a lead.
Man, listen, I don't have a lot of things on my rider. Okay, I like San Pellegrino.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. And what else is it? Oh damn, I forgot. It's not Kit Kats, is it?
No, that's Strickland. I like crafted coffee. Okay, I like croissants. That's it.
It was you know, croissants that
croissants, the Madeleines.
The Madeleines, yes. Yes.
No, Melissa was going crazy looking for those when we shot the teaser for Boxer. Melissa went to like 4 stores looking for Madeleine. She was like, girl, you and these goddamn. I would say, thank you so much. I love you so much. It's just going to make me happy on set, and that's what you want. But you, Jared Solomon, you have on this wonderful t-shirt that says Boxer. I think you should tell our listeners a little bit about it.
All right. So, Boxer, feature film. It was about 2 athletes, you know, who have been, you know, they've gone through a little bit of trauma in their lives. And, you know, Kobe, who Katie plays, she plays opposite Frankie, hands low, and they somehow, some way run into each other. These are these 2 people that are really, really passionate about boxing. And Boxer, and through this journey in Boxer, it forces them together to navigate through life together. It kind of, through boxing, it kind of ties them together, and they got to navigate through life and figure out, okay, am I going to stay stuck in this cycle, this mental cycle, or am I gonna get through this and figure this out and take advantage of the next step in my life, the next opportunities in my life? Am I gonna, do what's best for me and my well-being in my life? So,
guys, it's always funny because I am obviously the writer, the creative director. I'm always the one that is doing the little mini pitches and telling the log line and the synopsis.
Yeah, so right.
I figured I'd flip it this time and put it on Jared. And Jared was like, yeah, so
so this is what the movie about.
No, but he
got some things going on, right?
Yeah.
They try to navigate. But yeah, I think I did a good job.
I think you did a good job. But all right, so we have a crowdfunding campaign. Now, if you want to hear me stutter on about that, I don't think you do. Jared's really good at that. But we do have a crowdfunding campaign going on.
We do.
We've had a few, and this one is the doozy, I would say. All of the details are on the website, which we will plug you into a little bit later. But Jared, what's your favorite thing about it?
But if you want to go to the website really quickly and go support us before you even get through the whole podcast. True. You can go to boxofthemovie.com.
Right.
boxofthemovie.com. And check out the website, check out our teaser, check out our Indiegogo campaign that we got going on. We're raising $111,000, y'all.
It's a pretty penny.
We need all the help that we can get. All the help that we can get. Please make sure that, even if you can't donate a lot of money, donate $5, $10, $15. Every little bit counts. But I think the most important thing is that, right, every cent. I think the most important thing is that y'all help share this campaign, share this story, because, we can't do this without you. We can't do this without the word of mouth. We can't do this without you telling your friends and family, yo, check out this dope movie that, I found they're trying to make. Contribute to this and just be a part of, making this dream, making this movie happen. We got dope perks. You can get a day on set. You can, we have, what else do we have? We have like,
you get props,
right? You can get props.
You can get little lunch dates with us on the team.
Yeah, little one-on-ones with us. So if you're an actor or you're a producer or, any other capacity, or you just want to meet us in person and just, chop it up.
I'm way cuter
donate to the
person,
campaign,
guys.
Way cuter in person.
But you know what? Enough about that, because I know they gonna go. But we gonna get to why y'all really here, because I know it ain't about me, and I know it ain't about Jared.
Who we got this week? Our very, very first episode. Who do we have?
Oh my God, we have the extraordinarily talented Stephen Cofield Jr. Now, guys. If you don't know the name, you've probably seen his face because he does walk across the TV screens and the commercials and all of the things often. But let me tell you a little bit about Stephen Cofield Jr. Stephen Cofield Jr. is an award-winning actor from Brooklyn, New York. He has a vast filmography with indie films, both short and feature narrative, that have screened at Sundance, Urban World, and the Festival International du Film Africain de Cannes. Right? To name a few. I'm pretty sure I botched that up. But Stephen has also been featured in numerous major brand commercials, theatrical work in genres of comedy and drama, as well as guest star work on the silver screen with platforms like NBC, Amazon Prime, Paramount Plus, and HBO Max. Welcome, Stephen Cofield Jr. I'm so glad that you are with us today.
Good to be with you all. How you doing?
We all right. That's a hell of a bio. I'm gonna just go ahead and start with that. You know, if that didn't get everybody hyped up, then I don't know what will. So I'm glad. You know, we are all 10 toes in, 10 hands in, fingers, eyes, all of the things in Boxer. And this is just another way for us to kind of, you know, introduce everybody to the world that might not be familiar with the name. Because I know a lot of people going to see this and be like, yo, oh my God, that's the dude that was on the commercial when they had the Super Bowl. What, this nigga name is Stephen Cofield Jr.
Hey, he the bacon? Was you the bacon? Right?
Wow, you brought up the bacon. You brought up the bacon. Wow.
Yo, so you know, I'm glad that you're here. So we're gonna dig in. I'll let Jared kick it off.
All right, so Stephen Cofield Jr., what made you become an actor?
Oh man. I had the passion to entertain at a very young age. And you know, coming where I come from Brooklyn, old Brooklyn, not this new shit. It wasn't a lot of people that looked like me on TV. And my mom, you know, God rest her soul, she used to always say, "Oh boy, you crazy, you silly, you know, that's you on TV, da 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 da." But I never saw really a way out to get there. I just thought like TV and movies and stuff were like this thing that wasn't attainable, like it was magic almost. Like, how does that even happen? Like, I can do that? Like, that's crazy. So it wasn't until I got older and had the confidence and understood like, yo man, if you want to be happy and fulfilled with your life, you need to do this now. And I've been very fortunate to have a tribe around me to champion that energy, and it's gotten me here.
Wow, that's what's up. That's what's up. I'm glad that you have people around you that, you know, support you on this journey, because, you know, not everybody has that, you know, that circle around them, especially on this journey. People don't understand it. They just like, why don't you go get a real job, and, you know, all of that type of stuff. So that's awesome that you have that around you.
You know, it's interesting. You talk about tribe. So I'm curious, even though you have like that tight-knit tribe around you, what is like, what's the most challenging thing that you still have to deal with as a working actor? Not an actor that's waiting to be booked. I'm talking about an actor that is actually getting booked. What do you think for you is the biggest challenge of that?
I mean, it's always about the next job. And, you know, unless your last name is Ali or Smith or B. Jordan, like, you're not getting roles, you know, in your inbox ready to go for you. So you're always, you know, grinding for the next position. And in that waiting period, it's like, yo, man, like, I'm not making any money. I'm not, you know, I'm not productive. I don't feel productive. And your doubts start to, you know, fill your brain, and then it'll work towards your body and your spirit. And before it gets there, you know, your tribe, you know, you can confide in the people that you trust, and, you know, just and feel, and that tribe will, you know, if they're a healthy tribe and they support you, they'll get you through. And that always gets me through to the next one. Like, hey, you know what? Don't even worry about it. You got this. Like, whatever I need, like, they're there for me. So that helps me get to, well, it helps me get through the darkest times as a working actor. And even then, you know, it's, even when you're working, you still have to find, okay, what's the next thing? Yeah, I got a job. I'm working on this show or this movie or whatever it is. Like, you really discipline yourself to be conditioned to, you know what's home base for me to get there, and know, like, you know what, I'm okay today. I'm okay today. And when you don't, hey, you know, Uncle Bunny, or, you know, that's my uncle, or hey, you know, like anybody that you could call and they'll bring you back, like, hey, you're good. So I'm just blessed to have that.
Dope.
That's a good point. I just want to ask real quick, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest, where would you say on this day in 2021, what level is your mental health at?
Today, my mental health, I'm at a 7.5. I'm at a 7.5.
That's good, Stephen. That's good, because I know as a creative, as an actor, we have to go day by day, because I can go from a 1.5 to a 5.75 back to a 2. So like, I just want to say shout out to you on this very day for being at a 7.
Today. If
Today.
you would have asked me that last Monday, I would have probably said a 5 point or a 4 point something, you know, because then things happen, and when you're sitting and being idle and you don't feel like things are working in your favor, you got to really condition you. Again, going back to talking about conditioning and discipline, like, okay, what makes me happy, what makes me productive, what makes me feel good today, and in order to get there. And things have changed, and now I feel better about, you know, myself, my circumstances, and life in general. So it's really on a day-to-day basis. And as a full-time artist, whoa, like stability is out the window, you know? So that's what, yeah, hey, watch yourself. So you have to, man, you got to really, really discipline your mind, your body, and your spirit if you want to, you know, be the longevity of this career, this journey, even, you know.
So is that the main thing that keeps you motivated to do this thing, to like your tribe and just like keeping your mental health healthy?
The motivation, the tribe is definitely what helps. I think in the long run, in the grand scheme of things in life, and I don't mean to be, you know, I don't know if it's morbid or anything like that, but you know, we're not always going to be here, right? So it's like, what do I want my legacy to be, you know, and I think about that in long term. So it's like whatever those steps are to get me there, I need to work on that. And I want to leave some thought-provoking shit behind, but what's going to help me get there? Oh, all right, you got to get up and go to the gym and do what you need to do, because that's going to help you get the role that you ask God for. And then from there, like, there's all these micro points to help you get to achieving your goal and to the ultimate grand scheme of what you want to accomplish out of life. So you got to really scale each goal down, and then, you know, scale it down to daily, hourly, you know, whatever you need to do to kind of maintain your a good mental health.
Yeah.
You know, you mentioned legacy. You know, you very, and I know you to be very particular about the roles that you take on, the type of work that you want to do. You just don't, you know what I'm saying, take anything just to be like booked and busy. My God, I hate that phrase so much at this point. Oh God, I'm sorry. But in light of that, you know, if there's youngins, teenagers, young children looking at you, because there's, you know what I'm saying, we're at a point where you're at in your career, there's little ones that's starting to see you on TV, you know what I'm saying, and the kids might gravitate towards you, and they might look at you and feel the same thing that you felt when you was a kid, like, you know, I'm not used to seeing anyone like me, you know what I'm saying, on TV. So say these kids are looking at you, what is the most realist advice that you can give them from where you are right now to from the journey you've been all the way up until now? What would you give? What's the most solid piece of advice that you would give someone coming into the business as, you know, a youngin'?
Yeah, that's really difficult. And I think during different parts of your journey, you re-identify what matters most. And I think ultimately it's what serves you. So the place in my career right now, like if I take on a role that I might disagree with it initially, but I'm like, I consider myself an artist, like to the bone. And if this character is despicable and all of these other nasty things, and I'm like, man, I don't want to take this role because I don't want it to portray me, Steven, the individual, as a bad person. But then I'm like, wait, I'm an artist. Okay, so how does this character serve the story? So this character is maybe showing how how toxic men really are when it comes to the conversation of talking about women. And it's like, oh, okay, I see how I can not flip it, but just really internalize like the ultimate message of this project. And I think by me being a conduit for this character, this is going to help serve the story. So whatever I feel like this is going to portray Steven as, I got to understand like I'm an actor. These are real people. And in order to serve the message of this story totally, I gotta serve this character. And then I feel better about myself. But if you don't go through that process initially, and you're just like, you know what, I don't want to be a drug dealer, da 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 da, but you gotta really dig deep and then like understand like what's the message of this project. And if it serves you, then you do what you need to do. But if you asked me that question maybe 2 years ago, I probably would have had a different answer. But I think at this time in my life, and now that I am, trying and, working consistently, I got to really find different, methods of motivation and, different messages for myself on how I can be, just a vessel for the art that's out there. Because I have to serve these characters and the message of this project. If I feel like this message is really powerful, I got to be this despicable character to serve the message.
Now, what's interesting is you talked about the type of character that character would be in XYZ story. Do you consider that you judge characters? Do you judge the characters in the scripts before you take them on, or do you tend to immediately go to like, is it an immediate judgment of the character, or is it an immediate thought of what Stephen Colefield's junior brand will be? And I ask that because it's very easy for us to judge characters as actors. We'll read it and be like, ugh, I don't want to play this role. Like, no, I'm good. But that's judgment. You know what I'm saying? So I think a seasoned actor, which you are, we tend to, even though we might have those moments, we take that second thought might be, now hold on now. This character is despicable as fuck. Do you know what I can do? This is rich. Like, I can play with this. Like, I can be this character that might resemble my shadow. And our shadows we can't put on display every day. We can't go out into the street being like walking and talking with our shadows because we're gonna get judged. You know what I mean? So I'm curious. I'm curious to know, like, do you judge more, or do you worry about you more and your brand?
I mean, I used to, and I used to worry about my brand because I didn't have a brand at first, right? So it's like, okay, you kind of take what you can get at that part of your career. And then when I dumped some of those crazy characters, I really had no idea of, or even thought about like, what's the message of this project? I just, hey, I'm gonna do this. And then after I've done it, the next phase of my career, I was like, well, I'm not doing this no more because I don't want that to affect my brand. So I'm not gonna do that anymore. But then after I got to where I am now, where I'm like, you know what? I'm a fucking artist. Like, if this is gonna serve the story, I'm gonna do this shit. And then I think about, well, you know how you can fuck this shit up, Steven? Oh, you can do that. You can explore this. They're not even gonna think about that, but you study that and then you incorporate that into the, oh, okay. And then I'll meet with the director and the writer. Hey, what do you think about this? Da, 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 da. I think as of now, my brand, the idea of tarnishing my brand is not totally out the window, but it's just at the back burner. I don't think about it as much because I've answered the question of how are you, by you playing this character, how is that going to serve the story? And once I feel confident and like, yo, this is going to serve the story. All right, cool. I got that out the way. How I'm gonna fuck this up? Let's do this. So yeah, you put it, eloquently, very, very eloquently put. Okay.
I feel like I know I confused a few people answering that question, but hopefully Steven made it make sense for y'all.
Yeah. So speaking of serving the character, serving the story, what was it like playing Malcolm X? Now, because of course, everybody knows Denzel played Malcolm X. What was it like for you, and did that affect your performance at all? Like, were you trying to like use him as a reference or anything like that? I know as actors we don't usually do that, but did that have any influence on your performance? Oh, we can't hear you, Steven. We can't hear you.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, man.
No,
I guess
it's all good.
you know,
It's all good.
I was saying that playing Malcolm X is probably one of the best experiences of my career, and it was super early on. But that was the first time I got to really, one of the first times that I really got to really sink my teeth into uh, a character. But this was a real person, so that's the first time I really got to play a real person, and it changed my life, you know, going forward. Like my study habits were different, the way I interacted with people was different, like my lifestyle changed from playing Malcolm X. And then to watch, you know, the film god Denzel executed the way he could, man, it just really, it really did something for my spirit playing that character. And then my lifestyle completely changed. Completely. I mean, I played a Bacon later on, but that's not a hero there. You know, that's not a hero there. But yeah, probably one of that's my first time playing a real person and really having to study because you can't play Malcolm and think it's a cakewalk because you don't know who's going to watch it and critique the hell out of it. You know what I'm saying? And even though it was a short film, I still had to study my ass off. But yeah, that was one of the turning points of my career as an artist. I was probably an actor before then. I think that helped me become more of an artist.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Ooh, dropping just gems. That is a solid statement to be like, yeah, I was an actor before, but now I'm an artist. What? And right. You will pay me accordingly. I'm just saying, now that's super dope. I want to use that to segue into one of the main reasons why we're here, Boxer, the feature film. Speaking of characters, who do you play in Boxer, Mr. Cofield Jr.?
I play Ty Smith in Boxer.
You know what? Tell us a little bit about, or tell our listeners a little bit about, tell us about Ty Smith's personality and character and why you wanted to play Ty Smith. Because if you haven't heard this story by now, Steven put me on ice when I asked him to be in the film. I will tell everybody this story.
Yeah, how'd you get involved with it? After you put her on ice.
Right.
Tell us,
now,
what was it about Ty?
For your devoted listeners, I didn't put Katie on ice. I just, had to just, kind of let her simmer a little bit. Now, Katie's been talking about, she wrote this feature film and she's going to get it to me, but then some time has gone past and she actually finished it by this time. And she said, I had this character in mind for you and I want you to read it. And when she sent it, I read it. I didn't even sit on it. I sat on responding back to Katie just because I was probably being her and I, we have these petty moments, but that's love. Yeah. But I was always going to do it because of working with Katie is cathartic, if you will, and she's one of the catalysts behind my transition from an actor to an artist. So I don't ever have to think about anything that she writes for me, ever. So I didn't have to well, I don't know, I'm gonna let you sit on it because I remember the last time you did. Anything she writes for me, anything she writes for me, I know it's gonna be a real page turner. So reading Ty, I can just identify with Ty at that point in my life, dealing with some unresolved trauma and trying to, just live life and trying to navigate life, especially around, through love and trauma and turmoil and, you know, careers. And I just saw a lot of myself in Ty. And I just thought it was perfect. I think the universe was trying to tell me, like, you need to take on this role and kind of help put a cap on what I was going through in my life, at least for this chapter of my journey. And I think at the time I was just leaving my 9-to-5 to pursue art full time. And this role was like, okay, here you are. It was like graduating from elementary school and going to middle school or whatever it is. It's like, we've given you the tools. Now you're on the next stage to, you know, the courses are going to be a lot more difficult. You're going to meet a lot more new people and develop different methods of training, but you're also going to take on these new characters. And Ty he helped me get through a lot. And Katie doesn't even know that. He helped me get through a lot. So yeah, I saw a lot of myself in Ty, and I was like, of course, you know, not, you know, because Katie wrote it, but because I saw a lot of myself in Ty, and I'm like, man, I need to do this. And not just for the boxer production, but I need to do this for Steven. So yeah, Ty I love Ty.
Wow. Okay. That's dope. That's dope that a character was able to, you know, help you navigate through life like that. And I think that's what
just plop them there. It's like, just plop them there.
Yeah,
Hey, we need you to do this
like
right
what
now.
all of us are looking for in, you know, in these characters and when we play these roles. What was it? I mean, we were all there, but we did shoot the Prelude late 2019. But what was it like being on set and actually getting to really dig into Ty and really, you know, become Ty on set?
You know, working with Katie and the professionals that she hires, you know, it's always a good time. I never have an awful time, but I think the process, the execution of Ty, it wasn't seamless. It wasn't easy at all, because of what I was going through in my life, and I used Ty as a conduit for certain scenes, especially of, you know, listeners have watched the Prelude clip. There's a therapy scene that's really, really heavy, and there's a conversation between, you know, my character Ty and Katie's character Kobe, and some real emotional chords have been, you know, plucked between those two scenes, and it identified a lot with what I was going through in my life. So it wasn't the easiest shoot day for Steven the actor, but everything else was fine. As just trying to execute, it was, you know, really, really difficult. But it you know, in the long run, it's not difficult when you think about it. But I think just the process of just like, it's like therapy. It's like therapy. You work all day and it's like, I got to go to therapy after work. You get to therapy and it's like, all right, do I really want to be here? And an hour later, you're bawling. Like, yo, I'm going to therapy. I don't have nothing to talk about. And then you go to therapy and it's like, you had everything to talk about. They just hit those right chords, those right notes, those scenes that day. Those were those right notes and those right chords. I just had to, you know, trust my process and execute. So yeah, that was the hardest part about it, but you know.
Yeah, and I think even on set, I could tell like you were in the zone. You were in your space. Like Steven would dip off into the shadow somewhere up until we were ready to get started. Until we were ready to get started. Like I knew where he was at. Like I was cognizant of where he was at. I was like, all right, don't bother Steven. Let him do his thing. I'll go get him when we're ready, because I knew you were in the zone. You were focused, and I didn't want to disturb that. So I appreciate your performance. I appreciate your dedication to the role and just the work.
Man, that's good to hear. I really appreciate you saying that. A lot of people, they get, you know, it's like, oh, he's too standoffish, or he thinks like, it's like, no, I have a process. Like I can't be fiddling with you guys talking about like selfies and stuff. Like maybe if we're on lunch, but I got this scene that I need to execute. And with every performance, like I feel like my life is on the line. You know what I'm saying? It's like the stakes are high. like with every project, the stakes get higher and higher and higher. And it's like, I got people believing in me. I got people trusting me and have, like, they just believe in me. They've sacrificed a lot for me to be here. So any day that I take off, I'm letting these people down. So I ain't got time to meddle with you guys. I'll see y'all in a minute. Not you, Jared, but you know what I mean? Like, I gotta work. I gotta work. So I don't really play, I just be in my space.
I can completely appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
Oof. You said a lot of things that I wanted to just touch up on. First and foremost, Stephen was right. I had no idea that playing the role of Ty really affected his mental of where he was at the time that we worked on the Prelude. So that just was like, I felt like somebody just hit me in my chest, like shit, like, because I can always depend on Stephen. It doesn't matter what I write for him, I know that he's one of the actors that I work with that I never have to worry about. I know, like you said, Jared, he skates off and he hides under the stairs or whatever he does for his project, for his process. But I think that I've been working with Stephen so long, I can look at Stephen and tell where he's at, whether it's on set or off set. You know what I'm saying? It's a very, I feel very blessed and humbled to be able to have that insight to this extraordinarily talented person. So it's always a joy having you on set, because I know that if you're on my set and there's someone on my set that has never been on my set, the only thing, if they need to figure out what the vibe is or who to look to, they always gonna look to you. You know what I'm saying? Because the selfies and all this, and especially if Jared is on set, Jared running around talking about time every 50 seconds. So there's
right, let's go. Really... Time is money. Let's go.
So it's really dope. We have a lot of fun on set, but we put that motherfucking work in. We always put the work in. I'm not going to get emotional. That's not what we're doing today. But what I will do is, shut up, Jared. What I will do is ask you, Stephen, why do you think, after saying all that about, portraying Ty Smith, why do you think the message, because you don't take, after hearing, how you process taking on a role and getting on set and doing the role, what do you think is an important message or the important message of Boxer?
One of the important messages of Boxer is it's okay to ask for help, and that can mean anything, right? But just identifying that you may need some help, and with the life that we have, like, it's going to take a village, and if you're going through something really traumatic, as Black people, it's okay to ask for professional help. It's okay to seek a third party mental health counselor and go for a few sessions and just see what it's about, and because we've always, like, therapy has always been deemed as crazy, and we'll be fine, and whatever it is through like centuries, but it's okay to ask for help when you need it. And I think having two Black leads that are we always watch these movies and TV shows that are based on Black, like what it's like to be Black. I just want to watch a Black movie. I don't want to watch something that shows you what it is to be Black, right? So we're watching something that's just fantastic about two athletes, and the lead is a female boxer. Like, we don't almost never see that, especially a Black woman, and going through some grit, some trauma. And it's okay that Black people aren't monolithic. We're all different. And with that said, we have different ideas and different perspectives. And one of the perspectives is, okay, you're feeling this way. Hey, I think you should seek professional help. And I think with both of these characters, kind of coming to grips with, you know what, I need to know exactly what it is that these triggers and what's going to help me get to the next space of my life. The writing, the performances of just the prelude itself, it was just so well done and executed. So I think that the message is just going to kind of spill over, and we're going to see more of films like this. And I certainly hope so. And that we're not just watching Black content and it's always about strife. You know what I'm saying? Like we're watching, you know, these amazing humans just trying to be the best that they can in the life that's been given to them. And I think, you know, Katie and the team have done an excellent job up until this point, have done well with what's the world is about to see. So I kind of took you on a journey, but it's just, yeah, I think it's ultimately just like, yo, it's okay to ask for help. Like we all need help, and we're gonna need help if we're gonna get through this marathon of life. And therapy is it's a beautiful thing, beautiful.
Speaking of therapy, I got two things because I know Jared wants to jump in. When you said, when you were talking about your experience with therapy and, you know, days you don't want to go and the days you get there, be like, I don't have anything to talk about. I just want to say I relate. Oh my God, I can relate so much to that. The years of going to therapy, the so many days that I did not want to go to therapy, but dragged myself to therapy. Those were always the days that I had breakthroughs. So it was always the best session. So I'm always thankful that I had the willingness and the forcefulness to make myself go. But my second point is, Stephen Cofield Jr., it's because of people like you that honestly keep me moving forward in this business, because I think that we talked about how challenging it is, you know, and even though Stephen talked about how challenging it is as an actor, working actor, it's the same way on the filmmaker, writer side, you know what I'm saying? Because the doubt is always going to be there. You know what I mean? Like, is this good enough? Are people going to like understand, you know, is it going to hit, you know? But it's because of actors like you that really keep me writing. And I just really want to say thank you. I'm blessed to be surrounded with talent like you, talent like Jared, talent like the cast and crew, because when you find the good ones, you take them on the ride with you, no matter what it is. And I'm just glad that you in this little boat with us, you know, going on this journey with me. So I just want to say thank you. I love you so much.
Always love you back, for sure.
Yo, Jared sitting here like,
I mean, I think
so
that's I mean, we can wrap it up there. I think that's a nice little ball on the top of that. Thank you, Stephen, for hopping on board. I appreciate you.
Yo, man, I appreciate you, man. You run a tight ship, and I appreciate everything that you do.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to thank Stephen Cofield Jr. once again for stopping by.
Y'all gonna put some claps in there?
Yeah, we're gonna put some claps in there. For the first episode of the Boxer Movie Podcast. I think this is a hell of a way to start it off. And Stephen, thank you for giving us your time, your energy, your talent. We're gonna let you get back to the rest of your day. And we can't wait to see, you know, and experience how people receive this and you on the first episode.
Wow. Thank you. Appreciate it. Love you all.
All right. Peace. Thank you again to Stephen Cofield Jr. for stopping by. Episode 1 was dope. Katie, you got any, last thought? What do you think about our first episode?
I mean, I think that it's going to be hard to beat, but it's us. So, I mean, if anybody's listening and you thought it was a wonderful episode, we just have so much more in store for you. Stephen Cofield set the standard, but we're so tight. We're such a tight-knit family unit and team that we bring you nothing but gems every single week.
Yep. So this episode was produced by Shakisha Williams, Katie Mack, and myself, Jared Solomon. You can follow us on social media. Make sure you follow us on Instagram and Twitter at boxer_film. That's boxer_film. Or visit us online at boxingthemovie.com. So we'll be back next week for episode 2. In the meantime, make sure you go and check out our crowdfunding campaign. Make sure you donate, share the page with your friends, with your family. Like I said, we can't do this without you. We can't do this without your support. We can't do this without you spreading the word. So we appreciate you, and we'll see you for episode 2. Thank you.
Peace, y'all.